Alright, so in the previous video we had a look at factorization, but I just want to look again at two very common factorizations that I can almost guarantee you will get in an exam, and that is trinomials and grouping. Alright, so let's just quickly have a look at question 1.2.1. So remember, if you get stuck, go and make your checklist of your 5 methods. Alright, this usually helps me a lot. Okay, so I know my first one is my common factor. I know my second option is the difference of two squares. Then I have my trinomials. Then I have grouping. And then I have cubes. So then you eliminate for options it definitely cannot be. Alright, so just looking at this, 6x squared minus 7x minus 20, how many terms do I have? I have 3. So I already know it cannot be the difference of two squares. I know it cannot be cubes, and I know it cannot be grouping. So then I always first check, okay, maybe there's a common factor. So is there a common factor between 6, 7 and 20? Unfortunately, no. Alright, so that leaves me with my only possible option as trinomials. Alright, now for some reason, a lot of you struggle with trinomials, but it's not necessary to. Okay, you always start with the sign at the end. So if that is a minus, I already know that if I had to go and make my two brackets, one bracket will be positive and one bracket will be negative. Now after that, I go on and I go and find the values. Alright, so what times what can give me 20? Well, I have 1 times 20, 2 times 10, or 4 times 5. And then I go to the 6 as well, and I ask myself, alright, what times what can give me 6? X squared. So it can either be 2x times 3x, or it can be 6x times 1x. Now we don't know which one is going to work. So now we go and draw in a pencil, because it's going to save you a lot of time. You go and draw a table. And now you select one group on the left. Okay, so let's say we're going to take 2x and 3x, and one group on the right. Let's say we take 4 and 5. Alright, so I'm going to put in 2x and 3x, and I'm going to put in 4 and 5. Now I am going to cross multiply, which means I'm going to say, what is 2x times 5x? 2x times 5x gives me 10x. And then I'm going to say 3x times 4, which gives me 12x. Now remember, one is positive and one is negative. So now, what is 10x minus 12x? It's going to give me negative 2x. Is that what I want? No. So this is not going to work. Let's say I do it the other way around, so 12x minus 10x. That's going to give me 2x. Also not what I want. Which tells me this combination doesn't work. So before I go and change my numbers, I always just first go and flip these two numbers around. So where I had 4 and 5, let's see, maybe it works if I have 5 and 4. Now I do the same thing. So I'm going to ask myself, alright, what is 2x times 4? It's going to give me 8x. And what's 3x times 5? That's going to give me 15x. Now once again, remember, one has to be positive, one has to be negative. So I'm going to ask myself, what is 15x minus 8x? That's going to give me 7x. Do I want 7x? No, I want negative 7x. So if I switch it around, if I say 8x minus 15x, oh wow, that does give me minus 7x. So I know that this combination is correct. So now I just need to go and fill this into a bracket. So I make my two brackets, and I know in the first bracket I'm going to have 2x and 5, and in my second bracket I'm going to have 3x and 4. Now I must just decide which one is going to get the plus and which one is going to get the minus. Easiest way to do it is take these two terms that touch each other. So I'm going to say, what's 5 times 3x, which gives me 15x. And was my 15 positive or negative? It was negative, which means this has to be negative and this has to be positive. If you have time left, go and multiply them out and see, did I do this correctly? Alright, and then question 1.2.2 is grouping, but in a previous video I already did grouping with you. But I really want you to pay attention to these two factorization methods, because I can almost 100% guarantee you that there is going to be one trinomial and there is going to be a grouping question.